My background, I have been in the industry, high-tech industry over 20 years. I was designing mobile phones and base station towers, and I lost around $80 to $100,000 in early 2000 by investing in stocks and mutual funds. That prompted me to get into identifying an alternative investment vehicle, and I found real estate being the vehicle. Past 12 years, I've been investing in real estate, and I have invested in various cities across the province of Ontario. And that's where I found the challenges faced by the real estate investors. And in order to provide a solution, I quit my engineering job 4 years back and full-time into entrepreneurship and founded BizRing. So now let's get into the real estate investment strategies. All right, so real estate investment profit centers and strategies. So let me ask you this question. What determines an investment property purchase decision, right? When somebody purchases a property, what makes them to make the decision, right? Emotion, location, numbers, capability, or advice from the loved ones. What do you think? Probably you could put that on the chat, huh? Put it in the chat, and Jab, you look at it and see which one is the majority ones out of these 5 choices. And then at the end, we will discuss about this one. So now my other question, what does it take to be a successful real estate investor? Money, great credit score. For sure, you need down payment. Credit score also matters. And wealth of knowledge in real estate investment, that's also important. Great network, be determined with hunger for success. I would vote for be determined with hunger for success. If you are hungry to be successful, you can make the rest of them coming towards you, right? Because I have seen people, they started with nothing, and that's how I started as well, right? And 12 years ago, when I started investing, like I want to find an alternative investment where I could thrive. And that's how I started my investment portfolio. So with the money, but if you don't have the hunger, you're not going to do it. And you may have a network of people who are highly successful, but if you are not determined to be successful yourself, you're not going to capitalize that either. And knowledge, it comes from your own experience and network of people you will be mingling every day, right? And the credit score, there are so many people, they have even over 800 credit score. My credit, it has gone down because of leveraging a lot. But if they don't borrow and if they don't leverage themselves, then the credit score, it doesn't matter, right? So what are the profit centers in real estate investment? We know when we buy stocks, it's just the stock goes up, then we make money. We may get some money in dividend, that's it, right? But all these Airbnb and all Tesla, we are not getting any dividends or anything either, right? But in real estate, there are so many profit centers. The majority 2 profit centers, many of us knew: tenant pays down your mortgage and long-term appreciation. And this is what many people think, right? But I'm looking for 5 profit centers. I know we can make money out of that. For sure, tenant pays down your mortgage, one thing, and then long-term appreciation. The other 3 are potential to purchase at discounted price. So this is something you create this money, like you can gain this at the purchase of the property, right? So if you negotiate well and identify the right properties, you can purchase it at a discounted price. And forced appreciation. So when you purchase a property, you have to visualize how you are going to turn that property into. Don't think about how it is right now. So when I purchased my first property, my real estate agent, he didn't like it. My relatives, they didn't like it. And my wife, she didn't like it. But that was the best investment I ever made, right? So you have to visualize as an investor how you are going to turn that property into. That matters most. When everybody, like the average people, they would like when a clean property with granite countertops and all sort of nice hardwood flooring and everything, right? But when I go and look at the property, if there is a rat and the kitchen smells bad and the toilet is broken, I love it because I know how I'm going to turn that into, right? So that's how you have to visualize. And the other one is ability to own and benefit from 100% value of an asset while you put 20% down, right? When you buy $1 million property, you only invest $200,000, but when the property appreciates by 10%, it is going to appreciate from $1 million. So you make $100,000 out of it in a year. So you're not going to get any other like from GIC, mutual funds or stocks. You're not going to get that unless if you invest in a startup company, and then that gives you 10 times or even 100 times return on your investment, right? That is high risk, but at the same time, you will get dividend out of that. So what type of properties are great to invest in for a beginner? For beginners, I always advise small townhouses are great, and low maintenance fee condos with less amenities. There are condos with gym and swimming pool and everything. You should not invest in those because the maintenance fee would skyrocket. Like it may even go beyond like $1,200, right? So I like low-rise condos. There's no maintenance. The maintenance fee would be less, and there won't be elevators and no swimming pool or any fitness or anything. Then the maintenance fee would stay around $200. Like I have a property in Ottawa. It doesn't have any amenities, but it is cash flowing very well. So you have to invest in those properties. At the same time, I have another one just in front of Parliament with swimming pool, fitness and everything, but it just break even. So you have to, as an investor, don't worry about those fitness and swimming pool, all kind of fancy stuff. Old bungalow with bigger lot, those are great because those kind of properties have a lot of opportunities. If you buy a condo, your options are so limited. You can't do much about it. You just buy, you might be able to renovate a bit, that's it. But with a freehold lot, you could do a lot of things. You can even demolish and build a multi-million-dollar house, or you could even partition the lot and make it 2 houses. And you can even build semi-detached, so many options. Not necessarily you have to do it. You could sell that to a builder. They will do it. So just for that, your property value would go up. And duplex to fourplexes, those are great investment properties as well. So now you looked at the property and you purchased. Many people think buying a property is the major decision, and that is, if they purchase it, that's it, they made the money. No, that's just the beginning. So there are a lot of things need to be handled after you purchase the property. So you have to be patient and handle it smoothly. And the way how I look at it, each property you have to treat them as separate businesses. So each of them have its unique issues and problems, and also the return on investment. So if you treat each investment as separate businesses, then you can make decisions appropriately as well. So now you purchased a property, but it has to be managed well. If you make mistakes and if you don't handle the tenants properly, then you may lose thousands. Even some people, they even lost hundreds of $1,000s. Like I remember I got a call the other day from one of the teachers from a friend of mine's tuition center, and she was almost crying. The tenant is not letting me into the property, and what do I do? And he doesn't want to even pay the rent. But I have handled this one in the past, so I was able to calm her down and give her some guidance, and then she was happy with it. So handling the properties, you have to be on top of it. So I'll go through the rest of the items. And identify and purchase a property for at least 5 years. You have to, don't think like a stock market, you purchase it and sell it in 2 years and you're going to make the money. No, you'll be either losing the money or break even, or you may end up paying the realtor fees lawyer's fee and land transfer fee and all sort of fees. And then you may even lose some money. So at least keep it for 5 years. And then renovate and prepare the property for rental. So when you buy a property, for sure, I wouldn't recommend anybody buying a rental property, fancy renovated property. You would buy a dungeon and then just barely renovate it enough for renting it out so that it could get it rented. And then have insurance according to the actual rental activity. This is also another important thing you should remember and make sure that you are following this. There are people, they would rent out a bungalow, first floor to separate tenant and then the basement to another tenant. But they will inform the insurance company, oh, it is a single property, because they may save $50 per month. If you run into problem, any fire accident or any water damage or anything, and if the insurance company, they will immediately come to the property, and also they will get the police report and everything. And if they identify that you have deviated from the way how you have reported, then they would say, that's it, you're not going to cover it. So you may end up paying hundreds of $1,000s from your own pocket. Instead, you should be happy to pay that additional $50. So don't try to save the pennies and then lose thousands of dollars. Even if you are renting a student rental, there are commercial insurance available. You should do that. And then screen the tenant and write the lease, and you have to collect the rent. So it is a every month responsibility. And then maintaining the property cost effectively. If there is something goes wrong in the property, don't just ignore the tenant's call. Make sure you have to be on top of it and treat them with respect, because they are the one paying the rent, and you have the obligation to make sure that they are happy so that they will continue to pay the rent and stay there. But at the same time, it has to be managed cost effectively, because you have to go and check the property, see what went wrong, and then you have to make the judgment call, rather than telling the tenant to call a plumber or somebody to take care of it, and then they may call anybody for any price, and it could be too expensive. And increase the rent annually. This is also something many people make mistake, because let's say, for an example, if you didn't increase the rent for 5 to 10 years, you cannot go and tell the tenant, okay, I didn't increase the rent for past 5 years, now I'm going to increase 10%. You cannot do that, because every year the government, especially in Ontario, the Ontario government, they announce what percentage you can increase the rent. For an example, in year 2020, rent increase is frozen, but in year 2019, it wasn't frozen. So I have increased the rent for all our tenants, and then I was looking at the math. So each month rent times 12 of all the properties collectively, it was around $4,000 to $5,000. So that's a vacation for your family to go to south, right? So make sure that you are increasing the rent as the government stipulates. And bookkeeping, recording, capital expenses, and depreciation. So this is also important. Now, owning a rental property, it's like an entrepreneur running a startup company as well, because you got to wear many hats here. Now you need to know about bookkeeping too, right? Because let's say, for an example, if you buy a appliance for your rental property, you cannot just write off in that particular year. It has to be depreciated every year, because it's a capital expense. So first year 20%, and then 20%, and then consecutive years 10%, and so on. So all these has to be done properly, because if the CRA come back and ask you for audit, then you should be able to provide all the documents, and make sure all the documents are documented for each properties. They should be kept separately. The best way is have a separate envelope for each one of them. And then annual accounting filing and cash flow. So cash flow here, you may think your property is not cash flowing, but CRA, they would say, oh, your property is cash flowing, because your mortgage payment, you cannot write that off. Only you could write off the interest you'll be paying on the mortgage payment. So if your property is break even, for sure it's going to be a positive cash flow from CRA's point of view. But there are some people, they depreciate the property and then they will claim loss, because that's the beauty of real estate, right? You could depreciate the building. So another thing, you have to network with real estate investors and service providers, because networking is everything. So by networking with people, you will meet potential future partners. For sure, your capability would be limited after you own 3 to 4 properties. The bank won't lend you, and your own down payments will be maxed out. So you will reach out the ceiling point, right? And then able to connect with real estate mentors who may even give you guidance. And when you run into problems, probably you could reach out them. But if you are alone, your friends and family or your own network, they may not be able to help you out. Unfortunately, like whenever I ran into problems, I couldn't rely on my friends or family, because they didn't go through the issues I was going through, because I started a bit earlier. Landlording tips, and connect with creative mortgage experts, contractors, and out-of-box thinking realtors, because you have to deal with realtors who have knowledge in real estate investment properties. And also finding right contractors for your investment properties, those are also critical. An opportunity to participate in bigger real estate investments, because if you are always by yourself, your knowledge is limited. You have to open it up and go beyond your networks. Then only you can grow, right? Because you have to always unlearn where it took you to go beyond your point where you're at right now, so that you have to you could reach your goals. And learn from others' mistake and limit your damages. This is main thing, because you could save hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing this. Because for sure, whenever any loss or anything comes in real estate or anything, the way how I look at it, there's a tuition fee I learned. Because by mistakes and losses, if you learn, you could count that as a tuition fee for that. But if you don't learn, then that is a loss. But it is better to learn from others' mistakes and others' losses. And hear success stories and stay motivated. This is another important thing, because as real estate investors, you will run into a lot of problems. If you own 1 or 2 properties, and let's say if it is a condo, probably you wouldn't have run into problem. But if you're, there was a time when I was a full-time engineer, I had 35 tenants one time. So imagine the probability of you running into problem, right? As you increase your portfolio, you will run into problems, but it is better to have the network of people. They will motivate you. They will push you, because if they are doing 1,000 doors and if you own 35, 50 doors, you are still nothing compared to their success. So you will be still motivated, right? Find the financial freedom and you could enjoy your life. So now let's go back to the question we had. Why don't you guys put it in the chat? What do you think? When somebody buy a property, how do you think they should make the decision? Based on what? When I say emotion, oh, the property is a great property, and because I'm talking about investment property, not the one you will be living. Capability. Myron says capability. Oh, Kimberly says capability, location, numbers, location, capability, already said. Sustainability, tenancy, AAA. All right. I'm glad none of you said advice from the loved ones. That's the best thing, because you should never listen to your loved ones if you are investing in real estate, because they have never did any investment, but they will be the first one to advise you. I'm telling you, that's not the way to invest. So I'm glad nobody had chosen that, my husband or my wife. So from my mind, based on my experience, I vote for numbers. So for an example, location, I was thinking location probably 2 years back. Now I would tell you numbers matters the most. It doesn't matter where the property is located. I'll give you examples. Okay. So emotion, I had problem and I made some decision based on the location and the emotion as well. And both of them now, when I look back, I'm regretting I shouldn't have made my decision based on my emotion or location, right? Sure, location I would vote as the second one. The numbers is the first choice you have to vote for, because no matter what happens, if the economy goes down or crashes, no matter what happens, if your property positive cash flows, you can sleep peacefully. So always go for positive cash flow. Okay. Emotion. So I'll tell you a very good example. So I had tenants and I ran into a problem because one of my tenants was smoking marijuana, and she was fighting with the tenant, and she was living in the basement, and then she was fighting with the tenant upstairs. So I was even getting phone calls in the middle of the night while I was living in Ottawa. So I had this issue in my mind. So, oh man, this, and also another thing, I hate the marijuana smell as well. And I was looking for a property probably like 9 or 10 years ago in Oshawa area, and this nice complex. Townhouse was priced at $100,000. A single unit townhouse was priced at $100,000. But when I went and looked at the property, the complex smelled so bad with the marijuana. And I said, that's it. I'm not even walking into it, right? And then I went out and purchased a single property. It was a single detached, two-story property in Oshawa area. I'm talking like 8-9 years ago. That's 210,000, right? So that $100,000 property, we would have rented for 1,250. Okay, so it would have cash flowed forever. At the same time, during that time, North York was great location. When I say, I don't know if you have people from other part of Ontario as well, there could be some participants from Ottawa and other part. So when I say North York, is close to downtown Toronto. So that is high, and that is one of the best locations in Canada. Okay, but the property's cost was around 600,000 at the time. I'm talking like 12 years back, like 11, 12 years back. But I love the location because it's walking distance to the subway and all the amenities are close by. So I'm now saying two things. One, emotion. Because of the emotional distraction, I didn't purchase a property for 100,000. And then because of the location, I purchased it in North York, right, with fellow real estate investors. Now, today, as of today, when I look back, right, the properties in North York, they are break even, but so you look at two things: appreciation and positive cash flow. The properties in Oshawa, when I say Oshawa, it is the east side of Greater Toronto area, and the properties in Oshawa, they have quadrupled 4 times. Now those $100,000 properties are close to $500,000. And peacefully, at the time my banker told me, I was dealing with a small banking business specialist. He was saying, you buy these 200,000, 100,000 properties, I'll mortgage you the number you want it. But I told him, no, I'm not interested in that location. So I'm going to purchase 1 or 2 properties in North York and those kind of locations. So now I look back, I would have bought 10 properties or even 20 properties in Oshawa, and they would have made like millions of dollars. So always make sure, even the location, right? Sure, location is great, but if the number works out, if positive cash flows, don't bother with the location or anything. And down the road, any location would go up. So that would be my advice. So I want to put up another presentation about how I got into my entrepreneurship and how BizString got founded. And then I'll talk about that for 5 to 6 minutes. And then I'll open up for questions. All right. So far, so good. So you could do thumbs up with emojis. Fly the emojis, right? In your chat box. So why BizRing, right? So yeah, so over 12 years of real estate investment, I found the challenges faced by the real estate investors firsthand. Finding reputable service providers to manage their properties in multiple cities. For an example, if you own a property in Ottawa, Windsor, and Innisfil, your plumber in Ottawa, he's not going to serve your property in Innisfil. So you need to have team of service providers in each cities, and identifying them and managing, that's troublesome. And the second thing is, when you run into a problem, you are lonely. As a real estate investor, you are lonely because you couldn't rely on your family and friends to help you out, because they wouldn't have gone through the problems you will be going through. And then raising capital, because after you own 4 to 5 properties, bank won't lend you and your down payment is already maxed out. So in order to provide a solution, BizRing got founded. So what is BizRing? So we got over 100 categories of real estate service providers. They could market themselves and be part of our platform. So it eliminates real estate investors to going through multiple platforms to identify each different kind of service providers. For an example, in order to find realtors, they have to go to realtor.ca or their network. And then HomeStars for contractors. And then Kijiji, it is unorganized. So that's where BizRing is. It would be a one-stop solution for real estate investors to find all kind of real estate service providers to get their service. And also they could create their power teams using those service providers so that they could repeatedly use them in the future. And then as of right now, we got over 11,500 businesses listed within our platform, starting from Ottawa, Greater Toronto area, Kitchener, and Waterloo area. And who is it for? It is for real estate investors and service providers only. If someone is visiting BizRing, that means they have a purpose in real estate. Other than that, they won't come to BizRing. If you look at Yelp, there's all kind of nightlife, restaurants, and then they have the listing platform as service as well. But BizRing, it is dedicated for real estate, and anybody who visits BizRing, they have a purpose in real estate. And then these are the sample businesses they are marketing within our platform. So key features and benefits for the real estate investors. It is an absolutely free platform for real estate investors. You can create your power teams in the cities where you own your properties. You could ask your service provider, if they are not already part of our platform, you could ask them to be part of our platform, and then you could create power team. And single stop solution for real estate investors to find all kind of real estate services, starting from cleaner, plumber, electrician, roofer, real estate agents, mortgage providers, insurance providers, you name it. And then writing blogs. So this one enables real estate investors to share their experience and then show their network of people that they have knowledge in real estate investment and they have done successful project, so that their friends and family and their network, they want to invest and collaborate with them. And then through BizRing, all the reviews goes on to the service providers, go through our approval process. Because if you look at Google, anybody can give reviews, and they could be either same owner can write the reviews or competitors can write bad reviews. So, but BizRing, all the reviews goes through our admin approval process. And we are, as we speak, we are working on our forum. Our forum is going to be a platform for real estate investors to ask any kind of question related to real estate investment. Whenever they run into problem, they should be able to post it, and any fellow real estate investors or service providers, they could help them out. So it will be an interactive community for real estate investors. And we are turning our BizRing platform into a fintech platform where real estate investors, they can raise capital. So that our ultimate goal is making the real estate investor to thrive and becoming successful in their real estate journey, so that they could retire early and have a great life. For service providers also, we have superior benefits. they can be part of multiple virtual teams, and they could get free leads and branded business profile. They can have their videos, logo, audio, and image files, and you name it, and SEO friendly and reliable reviews. So it eliminates any competitors giving bad reviews. Geo targeting. Business owner, he can select all the cities where his business need to appear, and then he will appear as a local service provider rather than displaying his business under single city. And then they can recommend complementary businesses. A lot of real estate service providers are asked by their customers, could you recommend a plumber? Could you recommend a mortgage provider, insurance provider, or home inspector? What they could do is they can publicly recommend them so that they are shown as trustworthy and they have authority in the industry they are, rather than texting them personally or telling them over the phone. They can publicly do this, and there are no other platform doing this. And then writing blogs, service providers can write blogs as well. And for real estate investors, it is an absolutely free platform. There's no such a platform. It is serving the real estate investors as of right now. So BizRing would be the first and only platform. It serves real estate investors. And I want you guys to be aware of it. In Canada alone, there are close to 2 million real estate investors. Out of that, around 800,000 are in Ontario. So I'm glad that you are part of it. And for Pro BizRingers, and there's a Pro BizRinger Lite and Gold. For Lite, it's absolutely free, and Gold, it's 2 months free, and then after that, only $9.99. And you could share this promo code with your network of service providers, so they could become part of BizRing, and then you could add them to your power team, BizRing 2021. Our app, we are working on it, and we are almost there, and we'll be launching in the coming weeks. Apple is giving us some trouble, but we will overcome with that. Thank you for your time, and we will open up for questions now. And make sure to follow us and share on all the social media. And we need your support so that we can be successful, so that you become successful as well.